So this is going to be Class 1A explained, Part 1, I guess, because I'm only going to go over half the list. So yeah, with that being said, let's just roll the intro. Alright, so as you could see, the kind of image on screen is a little bit different than what you're used to. This was actually a kind of coloring that I had another person in my Discord do. Their name is Absolute Zero. I had two people basically do coloring, and they were the other one. So I'm really thankful for them actually doing it. And yeah, so basically this is gonna go over half the class of Class 1A, and there is gonna be some information missing because the people who created the OCs, sometimes they didn't have all the information down. Sometimes they would be missing like the last name or the name of the quirk, but only have the description and things like that. Sometimes they don't even have like the personality, and so I had to fill in some gaps here and there, specifically with like age. Like I made the default age like 15, I think. So yeah, and I might get a lot of these names wrong since they are foreign and most of them are Japanese, so bear with me with that. And I am a little bit sick. If my voice sounds a little bit different, that's the reason why. And yeah, so this is in no particular order in terms of strength, and if they are strong, I will mention that. Also, not all of these OCs have stats yet because I did introduce the stats kind of idea later on. So yeah, if they do have stats, I'll put them on screen, and I won't really talk about too much, but I will talk about like their personalities and quirk and things like that. So let's get on to the first one. Sokoto Yui and his quirk, Iron Manipulation. If you remember this person, this was the one of the first Class 1A students that was in the series near in episode 3, where he premiered and talked to Apollo. So a little bit of backstory, I guess. Not for the character, like his actual backstory, but in general, he was one of the first kind of characters introduced or created for this series, and I based a lot of the power systems around that because he was one of the first kind of strong ideas, I guess. And yeah, he was created by K-Money, and yeah, I kind of based the kind of power system, like the levels of power, I guess, around this particular one, since like I said before, he was one of the first ones. So he didn't say an age, so I just said 16. He is emotionless, lazy, and he is both a masochist and a sadist. So that means that he both likes pain and giving pain to others, to my understanding. And he's very overprotective of his younger sister or younger siblings, that being Ri from Class 1E, and as well as I think her name was Ami. She was also in episode 3. She had the Absolute Silence quirk. So I guess the reason why he is very overprotective is because his parents were both killed in a villain attack. And yeah, so his quirk, Iron Manipulation, lets him control, any form of iron, basically. So let's get on to the next one, and that's gonna be Kaiora Konami and her quirk, Soundwave. She's 15 years old. Her quirk basically works by amplifying any kind of sound. This does not really work on her actual vocal cords, so it's not like she could speak and that'd be very loud. It's mostly things that sound already happens, like a snap or a stomp or even like a pen dropping. She can amplify the sound, and it's very powerful to the point that it can make barriers and things like that. The reason why she doesn't use her voice is because there's a chance that could basically destroy her vocal cords. And because of how her quirk works, she's very closed off and nervous, right? And her actual hero name is called Symphony. She's also 15 years old. So we get to the next one, and that's going to be Hishota, and his quirk Zone. He is age 15. His quirk is time, or is zone as well. He's able to create this kind of this little sphere of time, and basically when you're in it, it makes it feel like it makes you like how to explain this? You're basically like separated from time, I guess, and you're in this kind of sphere that lasts around 10 minutes. So yeah, he's able to shoot that out. His personality, he's very eccentric and always seems to be happy. So we get to Asher. Yeah. So his quirk is called Inner Energy. He's able to create energy through his hands and through his chest, and this is kind of like life energy, I guess. And he's able to use these energy to kind of shoot out, as well as to enhance his own kind of durability and strength, as well as do minor heals. So his energy has kind of a tier list in terms of strength. It goes from I think the lowest one is blue, and the highest one is purple with, I think, green in the middle. So yeah. Next we have Susum Gento, age 16, and his quirk Nullification. Basically, when he touches something or other objects, he's able to nullify any quirk, and it basically works off his stamina. So the more stamina he has, the longer the quirk is going to be nullified for. And yeah, so he is very creative when it comes to both in general and also in combat, and he's very awkward and quiet. So that's how he acts. So next we have John Ambush, and this is one of the few students at UA that don't have a quirk. He's actually part of the test subjects, and I'll get into that later into the story. Basically, there are a couple of people who were tested on to kind of give people artificial quirks and things like that. So he kind of has 3 powers, but they're not to like an insane like height, I guess, in terms of powers and things like that. So he has super strength. He can super strength. He can see through walls, and he has very high jumps. So since he was very kind of hidden from the world basically for a long time, he's very serious, but he is kind to people. So yeah. Next we have Saisuri Yin and her quirk Senju. Basically, it's word manipulation, right? So she's able, kind of like that one quirk user from the present timeline of My Hero. So she's able to kind of manipulate wood in any fashion like that. So she's very calm and collective, and she is a smart kundere. At least that's what I have written down. So yeah, that's kind of someone who I believe doesn't really show too much emotion, if I remember right. So next we have Jake Walker, and his quirk Demonic Divinity. And basically, during the day, he's able to be a kind of angel. This gives him the ability to heal and things like that. While at nighttime, he's able to be a devil and have kind of demonic kind of powers and things like that. So during the day, he's very nice and kind, but during the night, he's very rude and kind of cruel, I guess, kind of like a devil. So we get to the kind of last 2, I guess. We get to Demaria, Shino, and his quirk Storyteller. So Demaria is a triplet. He's a triplet with the kind of top 2 students in Class 1A. I haven't talked about them yet, but they're going to be in part 2 basically. So as well, I'm going to also explain their backstory in part 2 as well, since it is a lot longer. And Demari is basically part of that. So I will explain his kind of quirks, or his quirk, and how his personality is. So his quirk, Storyteller, basically allows him to say a word, and that word will appear in the air, and that word will do what it represents. Like something like if he said the word metallic, then it would become kind of metal and have the properties of that kind of metal. So it gets weaker as he says more words. And let's say he were to say like tsunami when his quirk was near its limit. It would basically be like a few drops. It'd be like a little like rain, right? So he is like, from his backstory, because of how it happened, he becomes honest. But because of that honesty, he is seen as rude. So he's very closed off. He's not really shy. He just doesn't want to talk to people because he might like insult them in a way. So we get to the last one for this this part, right? So his name is Sensu. I think his name is Sensuyu Yatsuri, and his quirk is called I believe it was Ningayo, which I believe means water in Japanese. I'm not too sure. I remember reading that somewhere, but I didn't write it down. So basically, he's able to manipulate very condensed water, and this water is able to repel weak attacks as well as do a lot of damage. And I believe he could actually turn himself into water as well. So yeah, there wasn't really much to say about him. He is 15 since there was no age given. So yeah, this is only gonna be part 1. So that means it's only going over the first 10, which I have. So in the next part, I'm going to do the rest of the heroes and basically, or the rest of the kind of students, and go over which one is stronger than the other in some certain stance. So yeah, with that being said, this is going to be the end of the video. So yeah.